Hi, what are we fixing today? Well, today I have a video for you from a pellet stove that I repaired. I bought it secondhand and basically did a light refurbish on it and had it for sale, or in this case, I still have it for sale. So as you hear me talking about it, I'm talking to a potential customer who I don't know yet. I refer to this YouTube as a selling point to show them that it works. So please enjoy. Thank you. Don't forget to like and don't forget to subscribe. I need subscribers. So thank you. Hello. We're here today to sell. I'm here to sell. You're here to buy a pellet stove. This is my Englander that I have. I have just refurbished it. What I did was cleaned everything out. The top had a little, see a little dent there, had a little dent I had to work out, and I put a different color on the top. I like that little copper color. I think that's pretty cool. Here's the controls, what they look like. Let's open it up. And you can see model number is 25 PVDC, PDV, whatever that is, 55 SHP10. I have another one of these that I use all the time. This is a nice little stove. It holds about a bag of pellets. This one was made in November of '02, so it's pretty new. There's a few pellets in it. I'll show you. See, over there is the one that I got, that I heat the garage with all the time. I don't have it on today because I'm going to be heating the garage with this one. I'm going to, I don't know how to hold you. Let's do that. I'm going to open a bag of pellets. Okay. Sorry about that. Pellets, so we're going to dump them in. Dirt not allowed. There we go. Keep it all nice and clean for you here. Doop, 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 doop. Close up the cover. It's closed up. Let's plug her in. I'm bouncing it around a little bit. Sorry about that, buddy. I'm an expert video guy. Alright. This is not self-starting. We have to start it with some wire, so there we go. See what I do is turn this on. I'm going to hold it for a little bit. This primes it a little bit. Pull some pellets down the tube. Get some going. Get the fan kick in. And I got some pellets already dumped in. See, the gasket's in pretty good shape. Take a little charcoal starter here. This works, a lot of things work. Lint. It's just charcoal starter. Like so. All you need. I hope. I think that's not going to do it. Need a little more help than that. There we go. Once that air starts blasting on it, it tends to blow it out a little bit. So that's why, like, I use dryer lint. It works great to light these fires. Also, if somebody in your house likes Scentsy and you have all the wax, instead of dumping it out in the garbage, you pick it out with a paper towel and you use the chunks of paper towel with the wax on it to start this. I am going to actually, I'm going to cheat. I got some, there we go, I got some wood scraps. Those are a little drier. Pellets have been sitting out in the shed for a while. And I think I had too many pellets in there to start with too. Should only have like a handful in there. I was doing some diagnostics and making sure everything was working okay, and it pumped quite a few in the bottom. Alright. So yeah, I have an Englander over there I showed you, which I heat the garage with. I have a bigger one in the basement, which I heat the house with. I got it hooked into my thermostat. All kinds of stuff going on there. We're going to run this all day. And I don't know, it's about 11 in the morning right now. We're going to run it probably till 6 or 7 and you can see what happens. I'm not going to have the video on all the time, but the video will be on and off a few times during the day. And I'm just going to leave it run. She's starting to go now. So, another thing I did, if you look in the back, you can see like a line there, and down and down. That back wear plate was worn pretty good. If you look at pictures on Let Go, you can see the back side of that. That is the wear plate. That keeps you from damaging the back of the stove and all the heat and cold and iron wear. And when you have a fire, iron does wear. The iron wear happens to that plate instead of to the stove, and that's a replaceable plate. If you want, at some point, you can replace it. I think they're like, I don't know, 30, 50 bucks or something. I put a big chunk of steel back there. That's good enough for another 10 years. It'll be fine. There's no fire coming through that. And it's not that it seals anyway. That plate rattles in there. It's loose in order to keep it from being directly connected to the back where it can actually do, like I said, iron wear on the actual stove. Well, that just protects the stove back there. That chunk of steel I put in there will be just fine. And you know, take a look at the pictures on Let Go and you can see exactly what I did back there. Everything else on the stove is really nice. And I love the color of the top. I've done this on one other pellet stove that I sold. The woman of the house really, really liked it. And for chimney in here, I just have a piece of pellet stove pipe coming out the back. I don't have a T. Normally you would have a T if you're doing a long-term installation. The T would come out the bottom straight down here. That's so that dirt that comes up and then accumulates in this part will drop down in there and be somewhere and not block it. This is just going to be run for a day. I don't need the T. I have the pipe coming up, going out my garage door as a temporary installation. This is a metal garage door, so that's fine. Oop. Oh, kick that over. I'll go outside and show you what I have outside just for my temporary. My permanent, I have it coming up and going into a chimney. It's 40 degrees out here today. See, I just have it coming out here. So that's good enough for temporary installation. If I were going to make this a permanent installation, I'd want to come outside, probably straight out the bottom where it comes out, and then go up at least 6 feet. That gives you enough draft that if the power goes out and the fire is burning, the smoke will still rise because of the rise of the chimney. Here, and I got a chimney already built into the garage, so that's what I use. And if my fire goes out over here, then the smoke just rises up and goes out, and it doesn't smoke up into the house. There is a chance it could smoke back if you don't have some kind of a natural draw. A lot of people use their pellet stoves without natural draw. I don't suggest it. It's a good insurance policy, if you will. One thing about the Englanders is they don't have an air wash system for the glass. As you can see, the one I use regularly, I don't even clean the glass anymore. I can see the light from the fire through it, but I don't clean the glass because I don't need to see the fire that bad. I just need to be warm. Here you can see the startup is smoking it a little bit because I probably put too many pellets in there. Once it gets going, it'll be fine. What happens is after it gets hot, that blackness from the pre-burn here, the cold burn, turns to ash, and you can just go inside and wipe it off with a dry cloth. It will build up after a while, and then you need to go to Menards and get some of that. There's some stuff for that, some white stuff that it's made to clean that off without scratching. When I got this stove, the glass was clean, so I did clean it some more to polish it up, but you know, it was clean. If you have any questions, my email's attached. You can send me questions. Oh, let's do some dimensions, huh? You know how big it is? I gotta tell you, it's heavy. It probably weighs 200 pounds, 300 pounds. All solid steel. Alright. 23 inches. The actual body here is 23 inches that way. The handle sticks out another 2. But you need room at the back for the stovepipe. Unless you're standing here, I don't recommend running it with this open. It says all over here, you know, right there. Keep lid closed. There's a reason for that. What do I want? Oh, clearances. Beyond those dimensions, they want 3 inches in the back and 6 inches on the side, or if you turn it, or if you put it in a box on the floor protection. Yeah, you should have some floor protection, because if you open the door when it's burning, then some stuff falls up. It happens. I have it on concrete all the time. Here, there, in the basement, it's all on concrete. I don't have one upstairs, but if you have a pellet stove like this, you're going to put this upstairs, like in a front of a fireplace or something. You do need a couple feet of I don't know, tile, brickwork, something. It has to be sealed. It can't be like stones sitting next to each other with cracks in the middle. You have to seal that up. You don't want anything to fall between there and cause a problem. It is a fire. It's a wood burning appliance, so you need to be careful with it. Oh, height. Let's do height. You can tell I'm very, very organized. I haven't done one of these videos in about 2 years, so 28 inches high. You're going to want to have room to get pellets in. So the actual unit is 28 inches. I have it up on a dolly so I can roll it around here. You're going to want to have it at least that high. So let's say that's 40 inches. But before you get a bag of pellets in here, you know, you want at least 4 or 5 feet above this. I mean, 4 or 5 feet from the ground. So 5 feet from the ground, that would be enough space. Starting to get pretty warm. The hottest part of the stove happens right here. That gets very, very hot. This gets very. You can kind of, yeah, you can see it in the picture. See the. No, that's not it. Yeah, it is. Yeah, you can see it in the picture. That's the hot area. That's where it gets the hottest. Right there. Side. Right here. It's really hot there. The fan blows out the front here. Right now it's just heat rolling. What happens is it's still in startup mode. Once the stove gets up to a temperature, which you can set, but I suggest it to be as low as possible. Whatever temperature you set, that's where the fan, internal room fan, comes on. The combustion fan, which sucks the dirt or the soot out and blows it out the chimney and causes the blazing down there, fires the pellets faster. The aeration, it sucks air in the back, comes up through the pellets, through the fire, forces the fire, and then sucks the dirty air out and out the chimney. Carbon monoxide can happen on these. You want to make sure that you have the high heat silicone and or the correct pipe. Now this is not the correct pipe. So this doesn't seal, but I'm in an open-ish garage. I mean, you can see the outside there. So I got plenty of air in here. I'm not going to get carbon monoxide. You can see here in the bottom. This is not a sealed area. This is not a living area. So, you know, taking a little chances, but it's just a temporary situation. Temporaries are usually bad. But, you know, for testing, this will work. You want to get some good stovepipe. Stovepipe is not included with this. Every situation is different, and I only have this piece of stovepipe extra that I use for testing. So, pipe is not included, and you want to make sure that you buy that pipe that it twists together and snaps together. Do I have a piece here? I have a little piece somewhere. Anyway, the other kind of pipe that you can use, if you're putting this like on a fireplace mantle, is flexible pipe. Flexible pipe should only be used for going up a chimney, because the chimney itself will draw any leakage out and take it out of your house. There are special flex pipes, stainless steel flex pipes that you can use to feed a chimney. When you're doing that kind of thing, you probably need an expert. I'm not an expert in the chimney stuff. I'm not an expert in any of this. I just do it quite often. So, you know, I'm on a pellet stove group on Facebook. See how the soot that formed on the front is burning off now as it gets hotter? That's what happens. It burns off, and then that's what happens. It always happens. On these Englanders that don't have the air wash. Just the way it is. If you really, really, really want to see the fire all the time, I have some other stoves. That one over there, that Whitfield, that I'm going to be putting together in a couple weeks. That's probably the one if you want to actually see the fire all the time. This one, and I got a couple of these to fix. This one will smoke up a little bit. The Englanders smoke up a fair amount. Yeah, it's burning off more and more. It's getting warm too. Fan hasn't kicked on yet. You hear it kinking. Click, 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 because it's been out here in the cold. It's in the 30s today, so it's probably about 40 degrees in here. The Englander controls. That's this over here. You can see right now I have it on wide open. Oh, there it goes. Wide open is 9 and 9. That's the fan ticking in the room fan. Now we got air coming out here like crazy. That wasn't me pushing the button. I just wanted, if you push a button and you see what the control numbers are. Right now it's at 9 and 9. And I can slow it down. Going down here slows down the pellet feed. But the internal fan is still on high. If I go down here, I can go down to 1. That'll slow down the internal fan, and now it's on like real low. But what I want, no, the external fan. See that does watch. So if you get too warm in the room, you turn this down, and that's the fan that blows air into the room. I always have mine on 9. If I'm making heat, I want it to come out. And this affects how much fuel goes in. 9 is as high as it goes. I'm going to run this on 9.9. Look at that. Fire's cleaning up pretty nice. Cleaning up the windows, like I said. On 9.9 I want it to run all day because I painted this. This does not get up to stove temperature, but it gets pretty warm. I used the right kind of paint. Show you the cans. I used high heat primer. Primer underneath is good for 2,000 degrees. That should keep it sticking to the metal. And the top coat is this Rust-Oleum High Heat Ultra, 1,200 degrees. Pellet stoves are designed to shut down when the stack temperature, coming out here, temperature at this point, or just an inch or two in, when that gets over 500 degrees, then the pellet feed stops feeding, so it stops adding fuel at that point. So now you got more than 500 degrees at the inlet fire, but it's meant to contain that and to spread that through the room. And if you fire the thing hard enough, which if I have it on 9.9, it'll fire that hard today. It'll get up to 500 degrees at that point, and then the feed will stop, and you won't even know it. As soon as it gets down below a certain temperature, below like 490 or 480 or something, the feed starts again. Nice roaring fire. Well, wonder if anything else you want to know. Oh, the fact, I'm going to heat it, like I said, I'm going to heat it up full, and that way, if there is any fumey stuff that might come off of this paint, I don't think there is, but if there is, this will bake it out. And also, I've never had it happen, but if somehow that paint don't stick, and I end up with a paint problem, I'll know it, and then you'll never see this video. So I'll find a way to fix it. Now I'm not gonna, I filled it up with pellets. I'm not gonna change it. I'll come back in a couple hours, see how it's doing. She's sure roaring along. I wonder if I can, yeah, see? It's kind of blasting out the, picture was getting blasted out. I just focus on the fire, you can see it a little better. Nice fire. And as it gets hotter and hotter, that soot around the edges will all burn off, turn into a light ash like that, and it'll be gone. Alright. Alright, that's it for now. I'll come back in a few hours. I don't know exactly what time it is, but I'll tell you when I pop in the next one what time this was, and then we know how long it's been running. Thank you. I'll be back. Oh, it's about 1 in the afternoon. Thought I'd come and check in on it. Hot to the touch. Probably about 300 degrees. I would not want to touch that. Firing right up there. Let's see in an hour how many pellets this used. Tell. So many in an hour. At high. She's warm. Just want to check this, make sure everything's okay. I ain't gonna touch that. Checking everything out. Like I said, it's 1 p.m. It's been running about an hour. It was running fully just before noon, so we're gonna let it go until, I don't know, 6 or 7, something like that. Pick it up later. Nice and warm in here. There she is. Screaming away. Basically, almost all that is burned off around the outside. That's what usually happens. A light layer of ash on there. Like I said, when it's cool, or even if you wanted to, when it's hot now, you could take a rag in the inside and quickly wipe it off. Everything's rolling along just fine. It is 2 o'clock, so it's an hour since the last time I was here. Let's take a look inside. Scooting right along. Working fine. Check back in an hour. PM, coming back to check. It's smoking along. So I got this thermometer-ish thing, which sort of works. I use it in the basement on my pellet stove down there. I'm going to set it right there. Running on that high. She gets screaming hot. Around 700 right there. That is hotter than I would like it to be. I am going to slow it down a little bit. Let's slow this baby down. About 6. About 6. Yeah, that's hotter than I like it to be. I can show you, it can certainly heat up anything you would like to heat up with that. This has gotten hot enough to run it in. That's hot enough to run it in. I can touch it back here, which is good. Let's see how many pellets I got eaten. Half of them. Yeah, we're definitely going to slow that down. It's non-insulated, completely non-insulated. Oh, I got it. Yeah. Basically, it's boards and cardboard to the outside world. It's pretty warm in here. It's probably about 70 degrees in here right now. So it's 3 p.m. She's right there about 650 degrees, which is absolutely as hot as you would ever want to make it. You can hear it clicking a little bit when it's cooling off because I cut back on the fuel. We'll come back in an hour, see where we're at. Thanks. Thought I would show you where the temperature is. It hasn't come down much. Once it gets warm, it gets warm. You know, you can put a fan behind this thing too and cool it off, and which in turn heats up the room. I'm going to figure out how I'm going to do this here. There. I want to open this up. And I'm going to show you what I do to make this clean the glass off while it's running. I know it's really hot. You should probably have big gloves on to do this. Definitely need a rag that's cotton. It's just like ironing it. But you can always do that. Five is still pretty hot. Where are we for pellets? Rolling. Over half gone. Normally, if you had this like upstairs or someplace, you'd be, where it's already kind of warm, you'd be firing this about 3 or 2. Mine in the house is hooked, like I said, to the thermostat of the house, and that thermostat's a 2-stage thermostat. So the first thing that comes on is the pellet stove. Now the pellet stove in my basement in the winter, it's not running today because it's in the 40s, but when it's below 40 all winter, it burns all the time. When it's not, when the thermostat is not calling for heat at level 1, it's running at about a level 2 or 3, something like that. When it asks for heat, it automatically kicks it up to level 9. And I can show you how to do that stuff if you want to. It's not hard. It's just taking a jumper off and putting a thermostat in its place inside. And I could show you how to set it. That's if you want to get into like the more advanced. If you're going to use this as like a space heater in the living room instead of the fireplace, set in front of the fireplace, you don't need that stuff. You can just use the thermostat that's built in, set it to, it's not really a thermostat, it's a control, we'll say, because it lets it burn at a certain level. So you can set that to, 2, 3, whatever. If it get cold, up a little higher. Maybe you start out at 9 and then go down to 3. You can set the fan to where you want. At 9, it's a bit noisy, as you can tell. But if you're in a room where you mostly want the ambiance and just a little bit of heat, you can turn the fan down. And when the fan's down, let's turn the fan down. Turn the fan down to 2. Then all you hear really is the back fan. And you got pretty good amount of heat coming out. There's a fan at 4. You can just barely hear it above the other one. So what you hear now is the combustion fan in the back, which always has to burn. And you hear the other fan a little bit. And it's blowing heat out here. So if I was like in a living room situation, had it upstairs, set at 5, maybe lower, and at this fan level, that's probably where it would be. It's a pretty nice little unit. Certainly works. We'll let it run a little while longer. Make sure everything is all hunky-dory so it's ready for you. Thanks. Start outside the garage today because I'm sure you remember, because it says only a minute ago for you, but it was an hour ago for me, that I used that towel to wipe off the inside of the glass. Glass which was probably over 700 degrees. I don't think terry cloth is a good is a good thing to do that with, because it started on fire. But I didn't know it, so I set it on the bench in there. And I was leaning up on the bench watching the fire and smelling, what's that? I'm like, oh! So, don't use terry cloth to wipe off the inside of the glass from ashes. In the house, I've been using cotton towels, like muslin type, that kind of stuff. There's probably something better you could use. But whatever you do, after you're done wiping it off, you should not put it there on the bench. Well, it looks like we're out of pellets. Burned up the whole hopper, so that's going to be the last of my video. You can see what it does when it's cooling down. Oh no, I must have bridged. Once in a while, there's two things that might have happened there. I bet you I know what it was. Yeah, it didn't bridge. It got so hot. I remember I said before, if it gets over 550 degrees there, shuts down. Well, that's what it did. I think there's still enough. Yeah, there's still enough fire in there that'll pop up in a minute. It stopped feeding pellets, so it could cool it off. And now that it's cooled off enough, it's feeding pellets again, and it's just about to go. It'll puff up and go. Oof, it goes. Well, that's what it does when it gets too hot, goes into shutdown. That's what it's supposed to do. That's part of my test. They don't always get to that temperature, but this one is certainly a hot little bugger. It got there all right. So, that's good. You got to see that happen. What's the temperature over here? The temperature on the side fire pot hasn't really changed much. It's still right about there. I don't know. It's not stuck, is it? That's pretty much where it is. It's hot as old bejesus. So that's the, I think, 6 o'clock hour. Or 5 o'clock hour, whichever one it is. I'm not sure. We'll be back again in an hour, see where we're at. Thanks. 6 p.m. Looks like I did at 5 p.m. And yes, that was 5 p.m. Temperature's about the same. Where are we at for pellets? I'd like to run through a whole bucket of pellets. Oh, it's getting down there. I don't know if it's going to make it to the next hour. We'll see. I want to run through the whole thing of pellets. That's what I usually do. Make sure everything's happy. And I'll let it cool down and clean the window and it'll be ready for sale for you. Let's see. We'll be back in an hour. It's 6 p.m. Alright. See where it's at. Oh, I hear the fans off. Yep. Cold. Temperature's down. And it's basically out of pellets. So, you've been with me through a whole cycle of pellets. I'm just going to stick those in there. It's completely out. Well, that's just fine. Yeah, I figured I'd show you this. This is the only point of contention of the whole thing. See, I rolled a plate on there. This is, you can see, that's the back of the stove. That's where the smoke goes out. This is a baffle that keeps it from going directly out. This is just in there to protect everything, make sure it all works properly. Things from the back there. It's from back there. So you can see this is fine here. This is the way it should be. And that plate I welded in there just takes care of it. That's how much ash you get from a whole load of pellets, which ain't no whole lot. And that's my pellet stove. Thank you for watching.